If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That saying could not be more true than when planning your military family's Disney World vacation. I'm here to show you how to plan the best vacation that you can so that you can reduce as much stress for before, during, and after your trip. A Disney World family vacation can cost you anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 easily. And I'm here to show you all the best ways to get the best deals that you can so that you can enjoy the best trip you can. I'm Michelle Masher-Batista with Deliberate Military Experience, and I'm very excited to go through this video with you today. So let's dive in. Before we dive into what I think is a true and tested planning process for your Disney family vacation, you really need to ask yourself, why do you want to go to Disney? I think that's a valid question to ask before you decide to go, because it's very expensive if you just go on a whim. You need to have a good philosophy. You need to ask yourself certain questions like, am I just going for a photo op? Am I going to really try to build memories that my kids will remember? What's the weather going to be like when we go? Or is this just a special trip before or after a deployment? These are some sort of things you need to ask yourself before planning this trip so that you can get the most value out of it for you and your family. When my husband and I started to have a family and we decided we wanted to go to Disney, there was 3 main criteria that needed to be met before we even started planning. The first one is that all of our kids needed to walk. We would not be bringing strollers to Disney World. That might not be for everyone, but for us, after having gone to Disney without children, and we saw the sea of strollers, we decided before we even had children, we would never go with strollers. That is not something we wanted to have to deal with. The second criteria that needed to be met is that our children needed to be potty trained. Again, we were trying to travel light without a stroller. We did not want to worry about diaper bags. And the third criteria that needed to be met is that our kids needed to be old enough to remember. Sure, we knew that they were not going to remember everything as part of the trip, but they needed to have a decent memory, because we thought at the time that our Disney family trip would be a once-in-a-lifetime experience and we wanted to make the most of it. Sure, we would have pictures to remind us, but we were planning under the assumption we would not go again. Well, with my planning process in place, we had such a great time the first time that we have gone multiple times since then, and we will definitely be going without question. So just follow the advice I have to give, and it'll be a good time. Although the criteria that for our family wasn't exactly our philosophy, 2 separate things, and this is just something you need to consider before we move on. Our philosophy that we had for our family is that 1, you save as much money before your vacation, not during it. We'll talk more about that later. The second part of our philosophy for Disney is that we really wanted to value our time, and not just time to make memories, but we don't want to waste time. And sometimes when you want your time back, you do have to spend money. So you have to evaluate the cost analysis for when spending your hard-earned dollars. So again, valuing time was the second part of our philosophy. And the third part of the philosophy we had for our family was to get our kids involved. It's really a great bonding experience to plan something so great as a Disney World vacation. It really can give you the opportunity to build up the anticipation together. And if you've planned anything special before, you know that half the fun is planning, honestly. It's a wedding, a birthday, a special event. So get your kids involved early, and that you can bond together and look forward to the same things and listen to their input. You might think it might be a really great idea to send them to the Tower of Terror when they are not interested whatsoever. They would rather spend extra time at Toy Story Land instead. So getting your kids involved is definitely a criteria we had, and that maybe you might want to consider too. If you're thinking this video is going to show you how to spend the absolute least amount of money, or how to plan a Disney trip in just 3 months and get everything you want done, this is not for you. You might as well shut it off. This video is for military families who do want a good value out of their trip. Take the time to plan accordingly to ensure a good, memorable family vacation, and spend your hard-earned dollars in the correct places so that you can do everything that you want to do, as well as your family. Now that we've gone over the importance of understanding your motives and philosophy for your Disney trip, let's dive into the major timelines and milestones that I think will ensure your success for your family. At about 12 months before your planned vacation date, the first thing you need to do that I think is a limiting factor is make your lodging reservation, and not just any lodging reservation. I think you seriously need to consider the Shades of Green Resort. If you don't know what the Shades of Green Resort is, it is a military operated hotel that used to be owned by Disney. It is located on the Disney property, and it is an amazing place that has almost all the benefits that every Disney proper resort has. You really need to look into it. It is smaller than other Disney resorts, so there's less people you have to deal with. For example, at Shades of Green, they have 600 rooms where Art of Animation has 2,000. The difference is noticeable when you're on property. There's just more elbow room to get around, less people you need to wait in line with for your bus. So these are just some basic differences. However, there are three main benefits that I think just can't be beat when you consider Shades of Green. The first benefit and difference that I think you should look into is the pricing. The pricing model just can't be beat. When you look up Shades of Green, you click the dates that you want to go to Disney, and it'll say it's available or not, but also it has 3 tiered pricing based on your rank or position in the military. So for lower enlisted, it costs less, all the way up to field grade officers, which costs more. So that's great for transparency, but also the actual amount that they are charging just can't be beat. For example, the Polynesian resort can cost anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a night, again, depending on the time frame that you're looking. And Art of Animation can cost anywhere from $250 to $500 per night, which really isn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. But when looking at what the Shades of Green offers, it's very different. The highest price model for 2026 for Tier 3 members is about $250 a night, which is an excellent deal for the amount of room you get per square foot. So just look at the pricing. I've done extensive comparison trying to convince myself to go to a different hotel, but the financial benefit of using this resort is just very remarkable. The second benefit of using Shades of Green is that you can actually reserve up to 3 rooms at a time under your or your spouse's name. You both can't do 3, it's one or the other. But the great thing about this is that you can actually bring people who aren't affiliated with the DoD at all, which makes for a very fun trip if you are inviting your grandparents, which I have done 2 different times. 2 different times we brought the grandparents, they were in one room, and then my family, we used 2 rooms. We used 3 rooms, we were next to each other. So it was just a great benefit to get to bring guests with us and still pay a similar military rate. It's great for everybody, really. The third benefit of using Shades of Green is that you get all the important benefits that you would normally get using a Disney resort. For example, you get to go to early entry for the parks. You get to reserve all of your multi-lane pass reservations at one time earlier than everybody else. These are just a few of the benefits that you get without having to pay the Disney resort prices. So those are the 3, I think, more notable benefits, but I will give a few honorable mentions that I think are worth noting for the Shades of Green Hotel. There's a PX in there. I think that's great because you can go there knowing that you can buy items that aren't going to gouge you for water or Tylenol. Like I mentioned, it's smaller. You don't have to deal with the crowds. It's just a little bit more intimate. I think they really take care of you. The customer service is just excellent. You can get food dropped off there at the Bell station. Some places actually don't let you have things dropped off unless you're going to come pick them up. There are really only 2 cons that I can think of, and one of them doesn't even apply to me when thinking of Shades of Green. One is that it's not super or really at all Disney themed. Some people find that as a turnoff. Some people want the full enchilada if they're going to go to Disney. It's more Florida themed to me. It doesn't matter. Its rooms are big. They really take feedback well. Everything I need is taken care of. So again, that one doesn't really apply to me. But the second con that I think is worth noting is that since it is a military-owned hotel, it gets a lot of use. So if you're trying to go there in the next 3 to 4 months, I say good luck to you, because there's a high likelihood you will not be able to get a reservation there. Additionally, there's a lot of military affiliated organizations out there that also want to use and can use shades of green. That can affect you sometimes. Just some words of warning. The first time I went to go to Shades of Green, I had my reservation placed, and then 12 months out, but then about 9 months out, I was contacted that the Wounded Warriors were going to come through and they needed more rooms, specifically kind of kicking me out of my room. That was a bit of a surprise and a downer. However, Shades of Green was super communicative to relay that information and allowed me to adjust my dates, gave me plenty of time. I was able to call, and they were very apologetic, but they worked with me so that I could make that change without any fault of my own. So that's just probably the biggest con, is that it is smaller and such a great deal that everyone wants to get in. Once you play around with the dates, you'll see that there's a couple blockout periods too that you need to take in consideration. And just insider tip is, if you like a quieter hotel room, put in your comments when you make your reservation that you want to be placed by the golf course versus poolside. I found that the poolside is too loud for me and my family, especially when they were younger. And I asked the front desk if they could move us to the golf court side, and they were amenable to that. So I've learned to put that early in the comments, and Shades of Green has taken my request into consideration. In subsequent visits, I have been placed on the golf course side. So just a little insider tip. Once you lock in your Shades of Green reservation, or whatever lodging you choose to use, you can really start to build your budget, which is the second thing you really need to consider at least 12 months out. A Disney vacation can cost you easily $10,000, and unless you've been saving for years, this might come as a surprise and you'll need to start socking away money. But some of the major things that you need to think about when putting your budget together are, like I said, lodging is a big one. And then transportation, especially if you need to fly into Florida and you have a family the size of mine, that is a major budget item that you need to consider if you're buying airline tickets. If you live within driving distance, not so much of an issue, but just one of those major things you need to consider. And naturally, and the next thing you'll need to consider in your budget are the actual tickets. Of course, we're going to get them with a military discount, which we'll talk about in a second, as well as meals. Meals can get very expensive, especially if you're going to have a sit-down meal every day, which is something that we definitely did. We were open to that, but that is just something we need a budget for. But by saving money at Shades of Green, we were able to kind of divert those monies to other things that we valued, such as the memory maker, but you can get that at a discount too. Sometimes you got to look on the Disney website, and the memory maker is just an avenue for you and your family to get professional photos taken throughout the duration of your Disney trip. How many times have you been on vacation where you wanted pictures taken, but you were not in the picture because you were the one taking it? Or all of your family pictures were selfies. By investing $100 into the memory maker, you will get easily over 50, maybe even over 100 family professional photos that you will cherish forever. Other expenses that you should consider are multi-lane passes. The multi-lane passes, formerly Lightning Lane, are a skip the line premium service. I think worth every penny. When the past few times we've gone to Disney and we've purchased this upgrade, it has cost about $200 per person for a 4-day park pass. And that might sound like a lot, but back to our philosophy of saving time, it's just a remarkable thing to use. And the good thing today versus a couple years ago is that when you make your multi-pass reservations, you now can reserve up to 3 ride reservations at a time, whereas before it was 1 at a time. So that is just one of the great things you can do to save your time, but it also will cost a few dollars. So when you put your whole budget together, you really need to see what it's going to cost. If for your family it's going to cost $8,000 to kind of have the trip of your dreams, in 12 months from now, you need to save about $666 per month or $333 per paycheck. If that just sounds unattainable, then maybe you need to consider pushing out your Disney vacation to 18 or even 24 months. Do not go into debt to go on this vacation, and do not go to Disney in a position where you're going to be stressing out about every cost of a Mickey ice cream. That is just not something you want to do. And while we talk about ice cream, let's talk about your food philosophy altogether as part of your planning process. How are you going to approach meals at Disney for you and your family? For us, it was super important for us to take a solid, hard break every day, to have a reservation in place for a sit-down meal, which does cost generally more than a quick service, because we wanted to have a place to sit without having to fight for a table, be in the AC, and we did the research on where we wanted to eat. So we had a plan in place to where we were going to go. Once our family decided what we were going to do for lunch every day, we then built our itinerary around that location for lunch. By having a plan in place for meals, we could really read each menu and talk to the kids about what we were interested in each park. If you and your family would rather just have quick service, then that's something you can deal with on the fly when you're in the parks, and use the Disney apps to make that easier. There is the Disney meal plan, and some people might talk to you about that, or if you watch certain videos, there might be an emphasis on that. The Disney meal plan, the only benefit I have surmised that is why it might be worth it to you, is that you prepay for meals. And so if you think you'll have trouble saving money before your trip, then this might be a way to force you to do it. Then you don't have to worry about it when you're in the park. So that is a definite benefit. However, if you read what is included in the various Disney meal plans, you will find that there's a lot of food to offer to you, which is great. But what if you don't want that food? You either get it and waste it, or you don't get it at all, so you're wasting your money. So that is just something, consider that. But if you want to have more flexibility in your meal plans, maybe you don't want to eat in the park that day, or you get sick or something, then you don't get a refund for it. Alternatives to having a sit-down meal every day that you have to reserve out for, or the quick service, are just pack your own lunch. Disney will let you bring in your own food. They don't care. There's plenty of people out there that are buying food. So with that, you can plan to get food delivered to your hotel, especially if you're going to stay at the Shades of Green, where they make it super easy. There are a lot of options out there for or places that will bring food to you. The two that I have tried are through Amazon and Kroger. So my feedback for Amazon is that it is super convenient because I just do it on my phone through Amazon Prime, but they partner with Whole Foods. And Whole Foods, if you've ever been to one, is not cheap, and there are less options. So if I'm just trying to get some cases of water and cucumbers from Amazon, I have to get the most organic water and cucumbers that exist. But at Kroger, where you can use as a regular grocery store, there are more options for things that my family and I actually want for a better price. And I have found that the actual products that get delivered from Kroger are better. I have received many bumped up and not so desirable foods from the Whole Foods delivery service when I've been in Orlando. So those are just some things to consider, and that was my own experience using those things. But if you just want to pack peanut butter and jelly and cheese sticks, you can definitely just order those things to get delivered to your hotel room. Most hotels, especially Shades of Green, have small refrigerators. You can put stuff in there and pack accordingly if you don't want to partake in having to pay for a full meal in Disney. A couple homework assignments that you'll need to attack during that 12 to 9 month period before your vacation are to install the My Disney Experience app on your phone. You must become one with this app. That is how you will control 95% of your trip. That is where you'll see your reservations. That is where you will make your lane pass reservations for rides. You can see how long ride lines are. That's where you will see your pictures populate from Memory Maker. That is where you'll see your virtual tickets uploaded if anything happens to your magic bands that you have. It's just valuable. I've tried to give that advice to some other people and they disregarded it, and they said they spent so much time of their trip messing around with the app before. I just shook my head. I told them months before to become one with it so that they can maneuver around and know where everything is. It's very intuitive and it is not difficult at all, but you do need to dedicate a little time to getting to know your My Disney Experience app on your phone. The next piece of homework I have for you during this time period is to watch YouTube videos by DFB, or Disney Food Blog. This is not an endorsement, but this blog video site, DFB Guide, is amazing. That organization that produces those videos just keeps up with the latest and greatest on Disney's. They tell you what's coming, what's going, of insider information. DFB is worth all your time. I still watch it on Saturday mornings. It's a new episode just to kind of keep up with what's going on in Disney. So that is your homework. You'll understand once you go there why it's so valuable. So just trust me. And the third piece of homework I have for you during this 12 to 9 month period is collect Disney gift cards. That might sound ridiculous, but just trust me. For every birthday, every Christmas, every Hanukkah, every Easter, for every A on a report card, any time where a relative might want to gift you or your children something, tell them you are taking Disney gift cards. You don't care if they're in $5 or $50 denominations, they add up quick. So put it out there. I know I have for my past vacations to Disney with my family, and we have collected on average about $200 to $400 worth of gift cards in each planning period that we've gone to Disney. And they have just been a great enhancement tool for our vacations. And what I mean is that we were going to go to Disney regardless, but by having these additional gift cards from our friends and family, I could let my daughter go about the Disney store and kind of pick out whatever Disney or Mickey ears she wanted. If she wanted the $50 Mickey ears, I let her do it because Grandma had already paid for them Christmas last year. If I didn't have all those gift cards to pay for little souvenirs or snacks, I might not be so amenable. And I know, and you know, parents out there, you don't want to say no to your kid. It's heartbreaking. In Disney, you know, once you start to say no, you kind of do take a little bit of magic away. So I highly encourage you to either save the money up yourself or inquire with your family on how the Disney gift cards can really, you know, add up at $20 a pop over the next year or two, and how they will benefit your experience to make it just a little extra magical. At around the 9 to 6 month time period before your trip date, that would be a good time to actually buy your Disney tickets through your local MWR or your Ticket and Transportation Center, or even Shades of Green online. The tickets that you will buy will be greatly discounted. Go ahead and do the comparison. I've done it many times. For a comparable 4-day park hopper pass that you will buy through the military avenues, again, MWR, Shades of Green, things like that, versus through Disney directly, you are saving maybe 40 to 50%, which is a lot. And so, like I said, one of my philosophies was like saving money before the trip, not during. And so by getting those discounted tickets, you will save noticeably hundreds, maybe $1,000. Also with the tickets, you only can get 6 at a discounted price. So I know for my family, we're a family of 5. I bought the 5 discounted tickets and I was able to buy one for my mom at a discounted price. But I also had to get a ticket for my father-in-law. So when I did that purchase, I just asked the organization that I bought the tickets from to buy a 7th ticket, but at the full price. So I didn't have to buy a separate one through Disney. I could just use the same organization, but I just made it clear that I was going to buy 6 plus an extra one. It was a non-issue. I will say though, if you have more children than you or your spouse and you need 7 discounted tickets because that's actually how many people are in your actual family. Work with that organization that you're buying the tickets from. They'll probably ask you for a DEERS, write up a report saying that yes, you have that many dependents. It should be okay where you can get enough discounted tickets for you and your family proper without an issue. After you get your tickets, the first thing you need to do is go into the My Disney experience, either on your computer or your phone. I tend to do most Disney business on the computer, it's just easier for me. And you need to make your park reservations with your tickets. You need to link those up. Currently, Disney sells date-based tickets to most civilian people out there so that Disney can anticipate the crowds for each of those days that they'll be coming. But for you, if you're getting military discounted tickets, they are not date-based. So when you get your virtual tickets through your email, there'll be a code that you enter into My Disney Experience when you want to link your tickets. You will then pick the park that you want to go on a particular date. So one of my go-to itineraries for our travel, if you are doing a 7-day experience, the first day for us would be a travel day. And then for that second day of our vacation, we will usually go to Magic Kingdom. The third day we'll go to Epcot. And then on the fourth day, we'll have a no park day. We'll have a chill day, maybe sit by the pool or go to Disney Springs. And then on the 5th day, we'll usually go to Hollywood Studios. On the 6th day, we like to go to Animal Kingdom. And then we usually like to park hop over to Epcot. We have found that Animal Kingdom is definitely a half-day park for us. So we usually like to go to Epcot for dinner on the 6th day. And then the 7th day was travel day. So that just works for us. Depending for you and your family, if you're doing a 5-day park hopper, you'll change it up. You'll do what works for you. But you definitely need to link your park reservations with your tickets. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. Also, between this 9 to 6 month period is if you do need to buy airline tickets, now would be a good time to do so. You do you, whatever airline works for you and what time you want to fly in. There's a few airports to choose from. MCO is the closest one for sure. So this is just a good time to take care of that very important item. The homework that I would offer to you during this 9 to 6 month period is really to start to explore the Disney restaurant options if you do plan to have a sit-down meal during one or any or all of your days in the park. For example, if you really want to have character dining, do the research to figure out what restaurants offer that. Note to self though, character dining does cost more, so please try not to be too sticker shocked when you see the price of how much it costs to go to Cinderella's Castle or the Be My Guest restaurant, which is Beauty and the Beast themed in Magic Kingdom. It can be astonishing, especially these are fixed you pay one price and you kind of pick 3 things off the menu. You go look up the price, you'll be surprised. But if you shop around a bit, you might be able to get a different experience elsewhere. For example, my insider tip is to skip the Magic Kingdom princess character dinings altogether and just go to Akershus in the Norwegian pavilion in Epcot, and you'll get all the princesses and you'll get a buffet. So the prices might be the same, but at least you get more food and, in my opinion, way more princesses. So look around, see what menu works for you and your family. Just be prepared, because at that 60-day mark, you will place your advanced dining reservations or ADRs. And that, in my opinion, is a super important date that we'll talk about in a second. Continue to get comfortable with the app. Maybe even consider investing in Magic Bands. They are super fun. They are not super cheap, maybe $50 a person. But once you have them, you can use them multiple times. And basically, Magic Bands just allow for you and your family to scan into each ride or scan into a photographer during Memory Maker. It's just more convenient and way more fun when you're trying to get around the parks or get onto the monorail or anything like that. So just something to consider during this time. Once you get them, you will go into the My Disney Experience app and link those to your tickets. So now we're in the 3 to 1 month time period before your trip. And the number one thing you need to remember is that at the 60-day mark, like I just mentioned, that is the day you make your advanced dining reservations. And if you are staying at the Shades of Green Resort or any other Disney resort, you have the benefit of not only making your reservation that you want 60 days out, but you get to make your subsequent dining reservations for your time that you have reserved on My Disney Experience app. So this is an amazing benefit to have. The important thing about the ADR, Advanced Dining Reservation, is that depending on where you wish to go to eat, it can get booked up quickly. Each day, as of this recording, the time to make that reservation is 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is sitting down at a sit-down restaurant is important to you and your family? I would be caffeinated up and ready to rock at 5:45, 5:50 the morning my window for reservations opens up. Make sure I have a primary and a secondary restaurant ready to go should my first choice not be available, because honestly, some major places will be booked up, unfortunately. But have that first and second choice ready to go. And once 5:59 hits, I'm already logged in, ready to go. I refresh that page and hit make reservation. That first day of your day in the park will open up. It will show you where you are because you already made your park reservation and all the restaurants that are available. And good news is that they'll show you all the available times. So maybe you thought you might want to eat at 12, but it's booked up. You can eat earlier or a little later. You can make those adjustments, or maybe just change that restaurant altogether if you're not seeing the time that you want. So as soon as you do that date, move on to the next day of whenever it is you'll be in the park and go down the line that way. It is very intuitive. It's very easy to work with when you make your dining reservations, but make sure you have alarms annotated in your calendars, whatever you need to do to remember that 60 days out as of this recording, and it has been for the past 5 years, is when you can make your advanced dining reservations. Also during this time period, if you do want to buy the memory maker, now's a good time to do it. If you haven't done it already, again, look on the Disney website for any special military discounts they might be offering. And one that I find very valuable is to make a reservation for a ride service from the airport. That is a premium service for sure, but I want to reduce all the stress I can when traveling with me and my family. I don't really want to go hustling for a taxi or having to deal with an Uber or whatnot. I have paid for a service to come pick us up. I know what kind of vehicle I'm getting. I know my driver. They come get us. My name is on the board. I love it. Again, the money I save from going to Shades of Green, I just really divert it to all these other things that are important to me and my family, so that we are not waiting around wondering. We are taken care of, and so that we can have an enjoyable experience from the beginning. If you haven't already done this, your major homework for the 3 to 1 month period before your trip is to study the rides that you want to go on with you and your family. Again, get the kids involved if you can. Really look at what rides speak to you, what you're interested in. Is there any characters you really want to see up close and personal? You need to study for the rides because if you are using the Lightning Lane Multipass, you will get that opportunity to do that 7 days out before your vacation. For those not staying in a Disney hotel, they only can do that 3 days. So this, in my opinion, is one of the premium benefits of staying at Shades of Green, or any other Disney resort, I suppose. But really look at the rides. When you look at rides, be considerate of how tall your children are before you get them all jazzed up and geared up to go on the rock and roller coaster, and they definitely can't do that. Insider tip, it goes upside down. My kids didn't know that the first time they went on. They were very surprised. But anyways, really look at what rides that you want to do together, what rides have photos taken during them, what other rides require an individual lightning lane. What's an individual lightning lane? Well, there are rides that are so premium that they are not included in the Lightning Lane Multipass. In the Lightning Lane Multipass, most rides are offered at each park, but the ones with the longest lines are offered through an individual Lightning Lane means, unless you want to wait in the ridiculously long line. Some of these individually priced rides include Guardians of the Galaxy, Rise of the Resistance, Tron, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, things like that. Every park, it seems, has a ride where you either wait for 2 hours or you pay $20 a head for the experience without wasting your time. Again, for us, wasting time was not something we're too keen on. For a 4-day pass, for our family, we spent about $200 per person for that saving of time. And then we could also plan those rides around our lunch and then build out our day from there. And before you know it, you'll be 1 week out from your trip, which at that point, again, if you're staying at Shades of Green or any Disney resort, is at 7 days before your trip, where you will get to select your top 3 rides for each day, have a game plan going in. If you go on the Disney website, you'll see that although you purchased the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass for 3 ride reservation at a time, not all rides are created equal. To further complicate things, certain rides are Tier 1 versus Tier 2. Of course, Tier 1 are the rides that more people want to get onto. So when you make your first reservation, well, you can only pick 1 of the Tier 1 rides, and then you can pick 2 or all 3 rides from the Tier 2. And then after you actually complete the first ride of the day, when you actually get into the park, you will pick your next ride and so on. So you can kind of plan to have at least 3 reservations in the queue. But again, 1 week out from your trip, if you're staying at Shades of Green, you can make your advanced Lightning Lane multi-pass reservations for each of the days that you're in the park. I highly suggest you look at a map before you do this to really plan out what rides you want when. On the My Disney Experience website, when you go to make these reservations, there are usually multiple times that you can choose from. And so be a little strategic about when you wish to make your reservations. For example, if my family has lunch plans in the Norwegian Pavilion in Epcot, I probably don't want to schedule our Ratatouille ride all the way that's in France on the other side of the park right before lunch, because when you go into your ride line, it's not like you walk in and walk out. There's a whole process. There's the pre-show. Things happen, things break down. So don't put yourself in a position where you're going to have to rush. If you're going to have lunch in the Norwegian Pavilion, maybe plan to ride the Frozen ride right before lunch, because that is in the same place. How convenient could that be? So again, just be thoughtful, be one with the map, be one with the app, figure out where things are in each park, and the time that you dedicate up front will be a great investment when it's game time, when you and your family are actually in the park. Also, during this last 1 week, now's the time to place your order with a grocery store, whatever one you choose. I highly encourage you buy 1 to 2 cases of water up front. You will go through that very quickly. The water in Florida is not the best smelling. I'm sure it's safe, but it doesn't hurt probably to spend the $5 to $10 on a case of water for you and your family to enjoy. There are refillable water stations in Disney. To my complete surprise, is less smelly, quite frankly, than water found elsewhere in Florida. So feel free to bring a reusable water container on your trip to Disney if you're not going to buy water bottles. And with just a few days before your trip, you all might be so psyched, you and your family might be losing sleep like I did. And congratulations, you are almost there, to the point where you can close this video. But wait, there's more. There are a few more things that you need to consider during the execution phase of your family's vacation. During your actual vacation, these are my 10 highlights that you need to remember to ensure that you have the lowest stress, most memorable trip for you and your family. The first highlight I want to make note of is that if you are bringing non-DoD family members to Shades of Green, you need to register them at the front desk when you sign in. You are responsible for them, so make sure you give your guests the left and right limits, behave themselves, and that when they travel, especially if they were to separate from you and try to take the bus, for instance, without you, they need to carry around the special guest pass that you have signed out for them. My second thing to remember is that you need to be at least 20 to 30 minutes early to the bus each day. especially if you're going to be using that early park entry benefit. Speaking of buses, number 3, figure out the bus situation. At Shades of Green, the bus pickup and drop off is downstairs by the cafe, and the Shades of Green bus drops off guests for Magic Kingdom and Epcot to the Ticket and Transportation Center, the TTC, or it goes directly to Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios and Disney Springs directly. So you'll get the bus schedule when you check in, but just get situated with it. Have a game plan on when you want to start your day at the parks. Remember when you made your reservations, and make sure you have enough time to get there and go through security. Number 4 thing to remember is that on your first day you're going to the parks, you must validate your military status before your tickets actually get activated. There are 2 ways to do this. The first way is to validate your military status at the TTC, or the Ticket and Transportation Center. Right after you go through security, there's a booth to do that. You bring your military ID, you have all your guests with you, and they basically just validate that you are in fact a military member. From that point on, they will basically hit a button and all of your tickets and magic bands will magically work. But the bad news about that is that the TTC and guest relations doesn't usually open until about 8 or 9. So if you're looking to use that early entry benefit and you are there at 7 or 7:30, you will have to use the guest relations booth at the actual park for Magic Kingdom and Epcot to again validate your status, your military status, or directly at the guest relation window at Hollywood Studios or Animal Kingdom. Once you do it on the first day, that should be good to go. You shouldn't have to really go there ever again. But the first time that we went to Disney, we tried to go through the turnstile and we were all red, kind of freaking out. But the staff at Disney, they knew what to do. They knew where to send us. But it was a little frustrating that it's not something that we thought we needed to do or anticipated. So it just added a little wrench to our morning. But if you're trying to ensure the smoothest vacation possible, just know and plan for this extra step. Number 5, pack as light as you can, but pack everything you need at the same time. I highly recommend you have a comfortable backpack, especially if you are the camel in the family, carrying around water, baggies, change of clothes, an umbrella, apples, your phone charger, whatever it is you need to have a good day. It is not easy to get back to your hotel. It takes time. So plan everything that you think that you need, and you'll have a successful day. Number 6 is to use that memory maker. You took the time to look it up, to buy it, use it. Don't feel like you're bothering the photographers. As of this recording, the photographers across Disney are wearing green. Their uniforms can change, but basically look for someone with a camera. If there's a line of people near someone with a camera, skip the line, come back later. I would not suggest waiting in a line with anyone more than 2 or 3 people in the queue. There's plenty of photographers around every park. You will easily get some really great shots no matter where they are. If you see a photographer just standing around, go ask them, hey, can you take my picture? They'll be happy to do that. In fact, they'll probably take your picture with your own camera if you didn't get the memory maker at all. But just take advantage of that, you won't regret it. Number 7 thing to remember during your actual trip is to not be late to your dining reservation. Back earlier, I said to study the map and app. Really take that into consideration and know how long rides take. Especially the more popular rides, you're not going to go through them very quickly. So make sure you give yourself enough buffer time. If you have to get point A to point B and it is a quarter of a mile long and you got little legs, you might need more than 15 minutes to get from one location to the other. So just be a good guest and do your best to get to your reservation on time. I know for one of mine, we were almost 15 minutes late. I don't think they were happy and I felt so bad, and I promised to never do that again. So we've had to factor in more time and not underestimate the crowds at each park, and understand how much the crowds really get in our way when we're trying to traverse each park. So just be a good guest and get to where you need to go on time. Number 8 is if it rains, just take cover. no need to leave the park. It's gonna rain almost every single day, especially in the afternoon. I highly encourage you to have some ponchos at the ready so you're unstoppable. You can beep bop around the park without anything holding you back. I like to bring an umbrella too, and there's lots of places to go and get cover if lightning does occur. It does pass by. Sometimes you just gotta hunker down, eat a snack out of your backpack, and just try to make the best out of it. But just to manage expectations for you and your family, it's probably gonna rain almost every day. Number 9, I highly encourage you to wear sneakers. I see some people wearing flip-flops and Crocs. I know they're not comfortable, so I highly encourage sneakers. Wear something comfortable. It's not really a place to be seen, in my opinion, at Disney because it's going to be sweaty or rainy. Pack some fresh stuff and you'll be comfortable throughout the day, especially if you have young ones. Number 10 thing to remember during your trip is to have fun. That might sound obvious, but take some breaks and really look around at your family's smiles. Do take some selfies, take some goofy ones. Before you know it, your trip will be over and you'll wonder what happened, where did it go? And if you planned it correctly, you might find yourself asking, like me, when's the next time we're coming back? Because that was such an amazing experience. So these are just 10 things to consider during your Disney trip. But wait, there's more. There's a few more things you need to remember to really just cap off your trip that you'll remember forever. When you get home, don't forget to download your Memory Maker photos. When your trip is done, you have about 45 days to log on to the My Disney Experience and you can download your Memory Maker photos. And here's an extra little thing. Some of the rides at Disney offer photos during the ride, which are super, super fun. But there have been times when we're like, where's dad? Where's mom? For whatever reason, there's been some photos that were not captured or we did not get it on the My Disney Experience that should have been from the photos from the rides. You can easily go through the Disney website and you can make those requests for photos that you feel like you're missing. So you should have most of them, but you know, there's so many photos and it is hard to get the right picture of the right people to the right app. So just shoot them an email. They'll work really hard to get you your correct photos. We've done it a couple times now and it's been very successful. But just don't forget, you have 45 days to download your Memory Maker. Maybe even go the extra mile at this point and actually print off memory books for your kids at the next birthday or Christmas. I know that's something I like to do because I want them to remember the wonderful memories we made and something to look forward to for other vacations to come.